What's going on, y'all? It is race day, or as you can see from the beginning of this video, rain day. It's Saturday, it's 11:30, and I'm pretty sure that we're not racing today considering the amount of rain we've had today. I'm just going to go ahead and I got the car in the shop today. I'm going to do a little bit of work to it that I've been meaning to do for a long time. The first thing is unstick the brakes. They've been locked up and sticking for the last two races, but I haven't had time to fix it, so I've just been running with it. Here's a time lapse for y'all to enjoy. All right, so one down. Basically, the slides were just gummed up. When they're gummed up, they don't want to slide back and forth. When you hit the brakes and you let out the brakes, they're supposed to release. And when you get on the brakes, you know, they grab a hold. Well, this was grabbing a hold, but when I let out the brake, it was not releasing. It was still holding on to it. So now you can see it is no longer grabbing. So now we can go faster, or at least in theory. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of them. I believe I have a transmission leak and we'll have to find that next. So the last two races, I've noticed that my rear end housing, if I get light on here, has been wet. And what it's doing is as I'm going through the turns, it's actually coming out of the vent tube. And so last night, I didn't record it, but I ended up pulling the cover off, putting new fluid in it, and then today I'm gonna run a hose up to the top, and that way maybe she won't go spewing out. But tell you one thing, the rear end did not look very happy, but oh well, we'll keep running it. I'm gonna try to find a transmission leak. I don't know why. It's a brand new transmission, but hopefully it's nothing major. Alright, so it looks like the dipstick's leaking. O-ring probably went bad. No big deal. Not really worried about it, but I will fix it. But there's no sense in showing that because it's a pain in the butt. Other than that, I am going to put the vacuum hose on the rear end. So that way, when I go through a left turn at a very high rate of speed, the gear dope don't go out the vent tube. You know, I was sitting here thinking, while I'm working on the car, there was a discussion that was brought up, I'd say a week or so ago, on the North Georgia Enduro page. And what was brought up was big money racing for this class. Like, Tracks you go to, you race for $200. Some tracks you go to, you race for $1,200. It just depends on the car count in the class. We got to talking, and it was brought up, well, let's do a $500 entry fee, 20 car cap class or race, $10,000 to win. And I was like, I'm down. I'm a gambling man. I'm 100% for that. But then somebody else made a comment and says, well, if that's the case, the winner has to crush their car or sell it. And I'm sitting there thinking that's ridiculous. And I understand the point from the people who said it. You know, is this supposed to be a cheap class? And you're right, it is. I probably only have $2,000 in my car, which is not too bad. I might have a little bit more. It's the time. They said, so you're telling me that you wouldn't crush your $2,000 car for 10 grand? No, I personally wouldn't. Saturday, granted it's raining, but I'm here at the shop working on my car. And I'm actually putting in work that most people wouldn't even think about. You know, greasing up your brakes, putting a vent tube extension on your rear end so your fluid doesn't come out when it gets hot and it starts getting thin and you're going through a left turn. I mean, small stuff like that. And I understand the people's points. You know, they're like, well, for 10 grand I'd crush my car. I get it. You know, maybe that's just the drag racer in me, the car enthusiast. But the biggest thing I see is, why would you crush a perfectly good car? And they seen the point. But then they said, okay, well, we could do where the winner has to auction their car off on the front stretch after you win the race. And I'm sorry, but I'm not going to put in tons of hours and time and money and, you know, being away from other things I could be doing just to auction my car off. And not to mention, whatever money brought from the auction, they were going to give to second and third place. Nah. You're not going to make any profit off of my car. Unless you want to sponsor me, then, you know, hit me up and we can talk. But I just couldn't see it. Like, so you want to either, the winner gets 10 grand, but you crush your car right there on the front stretch, or you have to auction it off to somebody else, and then what? Now I gotta go find another one of these, because this is not a bad car, completely strip it, take the glass out, put a roll cage in it. It's not too bad, but still, it's the time. And if y'all watched any of the previous videos, me and Wade busted our tails to get this car ready for my first race. And I still appreciate that, Wade. But, I don't know. Maybe I put more effort into my car than most. And I know there's a few other guys out there who bust their tails to make sure their cars stay up to spec. I mean, heck, look at this. Y'all remember from the last video, that was completely caved in. This was all tore up. I could have left it. I could have said, whatever, it's a dirt track car, don't worry about it. Instead, I took the time, I pulled it out, I tried to make it look decent. I'm not gonna paint it, but I washed the car. You know, the back end's still kind of tore up, but at the end of the day, I guarantee you, before the next race, I'm gonna wax this car. The car is gonna be waxed. So anyway, I'm just sitting here working and thinking about that. Y'all let me know what you think. Is the time you put into a race car worth crushing for a certain price? To me, no, it's not. Now, granted, if I had $500 in this car and all I did was knock the windows out and went out there and won 10 grand, hell yes. Go ahead, crush it, do whatever you want. I get it. But the fact that this car has made it through the last 2 races and it's done very good, and I've put a lot of time and money into this car, I guess you kind of get grown to it. You get a connection with it. But I'm not crushing this car for 10 grand. Now, granted, if it gets demolished, it gets demolished. If it has to go to a junkyard, it has to go to a junkyard. But I'm not going to wreck a perfectly good race car. I damn sure ain't going to auction it off for anybody else's profit. So y'all let me know what you think. Alright guys, that's about going to do it for today. Got the car done. No major issues. The old lady's bringing me some wax so I can wax her up. And I just got news that the race today is canceled, so they are rescheduling it for May 8th. So looks like we gotta wait again. But other than that, just figured I'd give a little race day update. Unfortunately, we're not going racing tonight. It's no big deal. It's rain. We get it. There's not much more I can do to the car, so what you see is what you get when I'm out there. It's not like I can pump the motor up or anything like that. So anyways, hope y'all enjoyed the video. Please like, subscribe, and share, and we'll see you at the next one.